Heyo, what's going on? Yeah, it's late. Let's bring you closer. Come on in. Don't be shy. Sit beside me on the couch. It's late. It's 20 after 1 a.m. Central Standard Time, and I'm still awake. So I thought I'd talk about some of the books I got this week. I went and picked them up today. Most are from this week. There was one that I had to order in, so it finally came in this week, which is pretty exciting. I'm kind of late to the party on that one. Everybody else seems to have picked up their copies already. It's going to be a YouTube community flood of the same book, but not much this week. Not a huge week. Shipwreck number 2. It's funny how my pull list is kind of just keeps changing all the time. It's nice having a couple of I got 2 Aftershock comics this week, and 1 Titan book. This first issue of Shipwreck I really liked. As I said in the video before, at the time it was very kind of poetic in some ways. Left a lot to be discovered, which was nice. A nice sense of confusion, like a good sense of confusion. Didn't feel like it was trying too hard. I tell you, this Animosity is something I'd like to get on for sure. Probably going to wait for the trade. The story that had to be told at Aftershock Comics from Marguerite Bennett and Juan Doe, coming in January 2017. The creative revolution starts here. Oh, a special one-shot issue exploring the wide, terrifying world of Animosity. Well, that might be good to pick up as well. Blood Blister. Oh, from Phil Hester and Tony Harris. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good. So this number 2, I haven't read any of these yet. I like I said, I just got them today, but I'm really looking forward to this one. I think this is going to be something to stick with. I think it's just going to get better as it goes. And then the other Aftershock that I've been waiting a while for, Alters number 2. The first one didn't blow me away, but I did enjoy it. I thought it was a pretty good premise and a pretty good first issue. I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes as far as what kind of story they're going to tell here with this transgendered character and how they're going to play that. Yeah, just very curious about it. Yeah, like I said, Aftershock seems to have a couple of good things going on. Aftershock and Black Mask. Black Mask I don't see here really at all. But Aftershock, they always seem to be littering the shelves. Yeah, pretty great. So this isn't one that's kind of top of my read pile, but it is something that I think as it goes on again, we'll see where it leads us. Give it a couple more issues. They had Cannibal in my box today too. Just on a side note while I'm thinking about it. The more I sat with that book after the fact, the less interested I was in even trying out the second issue. It's like the Eclipse book in a way that the other week when issue 3 came out of Eclipse, I had it in my hand and was kind of walking around the shop just making sure I got everything else that I was looking for. And ended up putting it back on the shelf because it was like, well, the first issue was so great, and I thought the second issue was so poor that I just didn't even want to give the third issue a chance. And with Cannibal, like I said, there was parts of it I really liked, but the one questionable kind of sex scene between this boyfriend and girlfriend was just, it left such a bad taste in my mouth. as far as I just didn't even want to pick up a second issue. It really, I can say after this amount of time that I've sat with it, it was specifically that scene that turned me off that entire book. I can pinpoint it right to that. And maybe I'm gonna miss out, but I'm okay with that. It seems to be easier these days to really just let things go. I've always had this kind of idea, and I've even talked about it in videos very, very recently, wanting to give books a kind of 3-issue chance, that sort of thing, to give them a chance to breathe and see where they're going to go. There's so much out there that I can't even really give them a 3-issue chance, because why would I bother when I can try out something from another company? And there seems to be a million number ones. I don't know if partially it's always been like this, but recently it really seems like every time I go into the shop, like every book on the shelf is like issue 2, issue 3, issue 1. They're all just starting out. There's a million different issues and titles that are just all starting out. One that I'm glad that's just starting out, and I'm on it right from the top, is Triggerman number 2. I loved this first issue quite a bit. Peepland number 1 piqued my interest, but Triggerman number 1 just completely grabbed me hook, line, and sinker. I love the art. I love the look into the world, and I just have a really, really strong sense of this one, that it's gonna just develop to be something incredible. So they had all 3 covers for this one, so they must be ordering enough, or there must be enough readers in Winnipeg to justify ordering that many copies if they're getting copies of the variant covers, because aren't the variant covers usually like 1 in 5 and 1 in 10, that sort of thing? Or do the variant covers, are there titles nowadays where there's variant covers for every single issue and they just come automatically? You just get a selection of variant covers. I'm not so sure. Either way, there must be a bunch of people reading this, because number 1 wasn't on the shelf anymore. Peepland number 1 hasn't been on the shelf in a week or so. So they must be selling out, or they're moving them off the shelf really quickly, which they don't normally do at Galaxy. They kind of keep things for, you can usually, if it's on issue 3, behind it, you can find issue 2 and issue 1. Hey, J-Rocks. Yeah, total night owl today. I don't know what happened. I'm wide awake. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to this one. Titan Comics out of the UK, and then Hard Case Crime rather. So that's going to be a killer one. Looking forward to it. And then the sort of big 2, Avengers 1.1. Yeah, again, I don't normally go for this kind of thing as far as like 0.1 issues, and even my son and I were talking about it today, that it seems to be a little bit of a shift as far as our interest again in Marvel titles that are either out now or that are coming out in January. We seem to have a little more interest in them again. There was a period of time there where nothing really looked worth it for us. And again, because Mark Waid is writing this, I know it's not a direct link into what we're reading in issue 1 and for the rest of the series, but I don't know, I just felt like I wanted to give it a shot just to see what kind of extra little story he was going to show us. And what is this one now? Oh, it's a $3.99. It's a $3.99 book, which isn't so bad, but yeah, I don't know. We'll give it a shot. I gave him The Unworthy Thor and the Avengers #1 to read. I put them in his room for, we kind of talked about it a little bit, so I think he'll probably wake up early tomorrow and dig into those as well. So yeah, we'll give that a shot. Doom Patrol #3 with a pretty cool cover. It really, that art style really reminds me, Rez, if you're watching this, Really reminds me of that heavy metal book, Aftermath, The Big Clean. Very similar style, but I see that it's not those brothers. Simon Bisley does the variant cover, and this cover, I think, is just Nick Darrington, who's the artist in the rest of the book. Just playing with some different medium, little bit of different style than the interior. I like it a lot. I really like the cover. I think they had 2 covers. I just picked up one for this one. It's issue 3 now. I don't feel the need to pick up multiple covers for all of them the entire way through. But for Mother Panic, which came out this week, I couldn't resist to picking up the 2 covers that I most wanted. They had, I think, 4 different covers there, but these were the ones I really wanted. I'm really excited about this book. I'm really looking forward to seeing what this is all about, especially since it takes place in Gotham City, doesn't it? There's a little look on the inside. I've already heard a couple of people talking about it, that it didn't do much for them. But again, we'll see. I've been having luck with Young Animal so far, so this might work very well for me. Some good looking pages either way. And then finally, the book that everybody seems to have. My copy finally came in. The World of Edina, still freshly sealed. I haven't even cracked it out of the shrink wrap yet. Really, really excited about this. The Dark Horse series of Mobius books that they're going to be putting out. I think they have 4 scheduled so far, and this is the first one. It was a couple of bucks, but shit, man, it's Mobius. So let's just get in here right now. The one thing that everybody's been saying is how good the binding is. Let's have a look here. Oh man, it's a hefty sucker. Oh yeah, that looks pretty darn good. Looks pretty darn good. This sucker will lay flat on the table for sure. Wow, look at that. Not even any creaking as you open it, really. So look at the inside there for those who don't know. I think by now, like I said, there's been a few people. Damien showed off his copy. Larassa showed off her copy. I can't remember if Rez showed off a copy. I can't remember if Rez had it or not. But I guess the story was that this is kind of a fleshed out, what was supposed to be just a one-off mini comic as a sales incentive for the people at the Citroen car company, I believe for salesmen, and just kind of expanded into this bigger story. I believe it's the first time it's published in English, so really excited about it. And I mean, you know, just looking through it, it's Mobius, so what the hell can you go wrong with? It looks incredible. Very, oh man, it smells so great too. Very excited about this. I'm very excited to see the rest of the books. Yeah, quite a few people have hopped on it, and I think that's kind of why, because there's not many English translations of Mobius's stuff, and when there is at this point now, especially going back, they cost an arm and a leg to get them. I mean, I've been lucky to find some reprinted stuff that's been pretty cheap, but for the most part, this stuff just commands a really big price tag. And like I said, this is, what does it say, $49.99 US, $65.99 Canadian. But you are looking at a couple of hundred pages. Was it almost 300 pages? Let's just have a look. Oh, 350 pages, which is great. And actually, just as I was flipping through, we can do this. Let's have a quick look. Here we go. Oh, 3 volumes. The Mobius Library, Inside Mobius, parts 1 to 3. 3 volumes in 2018. And then The Art of Edina coming in 2017. So there's kind of what's slated over the next couple of years. 4 more books. I was wrong. I thought it was 4 books total, but it looks like 5 books total. But like I was saying, I mean, he's just one of those artists that everybody seems drawn to, or a large number of people are drawn to. So his stuff, when it does get translated into English, it probably sells out pretty fast and all that kind of stuff. And it just hasn't been reprinted as often as maybe some other stuff does. So it's pretty sought after. So I think the thought is that, first of all, I mean, it's again one of those situations where you want to make sure that Dark Horse continues with the other books, seeing how well this one sells. Let's hope it sells really well. It'll just be more incentive for them to keep it up. They probably would regardless, but yeah, I mean, you kind of just want to jump on it before it's too late, probably, as part of the deal too. Soon enough, it'll be sold out. And it'll be going for ridiculous prices on eBay, I'm sure. I can't wait. I'm going to stay up for a little bit tonight and flip through this. Apparently there's some good interviews in the front. Looks like they had some extra pages in the back of art. Yeah, an intro about the world of Edina, about this edition, beginning the Edina cycle, and then we get into the story. Cool, super cool. Very, very excited about it. I'm really glad the guy at my shop was able to get this in. He was a little unsure if he was going to be able to, period. But they're hell of a place, and I really, really appreciate it. Justin and Jeremy both, but especially Justin, who gets a lot of the books in for me that I specially order. Every once in a while, there's always some strange order of a weirdo book that I want, and he always does his best, and most of the time is able to get him in for me. So I'm really glad he was able to score this sucker for me. There we go. We didn't knock yet. That's a hardcover. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. That's it, people. I'm going to read. I'm going to sit here in my black light and lamped room and get into some Mobius. Tomorrow night, I bought tickets, or I guess it's tonight now. Doctor Strange. I see there's a lot of videos. Just as I was kind of checking into YouTube, my subscription page comes up, and I think I saw 3 videos in my subscription, like back to back, of people talking about Doctor Strange. So I'm guessing a bunch of people either went tonight to see it. So everybody was doing chats on talking about it. I saw Rez did one. Lords of the Long Box, I think, did one. And there was another one too. I know that Nick did a spoiler-free one before. So it's videos that I won't be watching. I'm so close. I don't want anything else spoiled. I know little bits and pieces, and I'm fine with knowing little bits and pieces, but I don't want to hear everybody's opinion on it because I don't want to spoil it for myself. I want to go in kind of fresh and try not to think of what other people felt worked and didn't work. I want to just see it for myself. Very, very excited. Before Mr. Tom went to bed, we were laying around talking about it and just imagining things that are going to happen in it. And he was saying, are you surprised that there's a Doctor Strange movie? And I said, of course, I'm absolutely just shocked that that would be something they would make a movie out of. It makes about as much sense as making a Namor the Submariner movie. I can't imagine anybody that would be interested in it, but apparently it's doing pretty well. I think 85, what was the number that I saw? 85 million in the first week, something like that. When I looked at the box office take on on the website when I was buying the tickets. I think it said 85 million. It was in first place out of the 5 movies that they listed, and it was almost double the amount. It made almost double the amount as the number 2 position movie made. So yeah, that's pretty impressive stuff. I can't wait. Can't wait. Psychedelic imagery and all sorts of goodness. I think that's it. I didn't really have much to talk about, just the new issues. Thanks very much. You'll notice that there's a video missing from my timeline. I did a live video just recently. I deleted it because I started the video out with what I thought was very amusing at the time, Trump talk. But seeing as what's happened in the States, I figured maybe it's better just to get that shit off the timeline. So I'm sorry if you missed it or if you had comments or something, and it's gone. I just erased it. I just felt it was a little bit in poor taste after what has actually occurred in real life to have the video up. It's not like I said anything that was really insensitive or anything. It's just that I know those wounds are fresh. They're fresh for us as well too. Samantha Bee had a really nice piece on where it was the day of the election, and she sent some of her reporters down to talk to some of the people who were voting, and just this idea of, we seem to really, or people seem to really be split and really divided this time, more so than normal. And she had kind of Hillary supporters and Trump supporters kind of come face to face and kind of try to talk it out. And if you haven't seen it, if you haven't seen Sam B's show, check out that clip. It was pretty good. Still pretty damn funny, but also kind of hopeful and touching in a weird kind of way too. The beauty of some of those comedians, I mean, Jon Stewart was the same thing for me. The ability to kind of bring everything down a notch and just allow you to, like, okay, let's calm down. Here's a perspective. Yes, you can still be angry. Yes, if you think a certain way, sure, there's still justification for it. And, it's still somebody saying, yes, you're right, we're right. But, and then they kind of just put a nice little spin on it and kind of give it a little bit of humanity. And, it's really great stuff. I really miss Jon Stewart quite a bit. John Oliver is the guy for me now. Sam B, I'm kind of up and down. I really liked her when she was on Daily Show doing some of the reports. I thought her bits were always the best. I thought they were just hysterically funny. She's hit and miss for me now that she has her own show, but for the most part, I do really enjoy it. And this last one, like I said, was pretty fucking hilarious. Yeah, so thank you very much for J-Rocks showing up, and I just see the uncanny Kyle Walker just showed up. But that's it. That's all I got. That's what I got to say. Thank you very much, everybody, and stop broadcast.